thank you for joining us for the first of 100 interviews with the top salon, spa, and clinic owners. And I think the beauty of this is that these people who I am going to be interviewing, such as yourself, have been peer nominated as well. So it's not it's not governed by a specific group of people. It's people who have been nominated by others who see them as the best in the industry. The congratulations on being part of that exclusive club. We've got an amazing list coming up. We're going to be doing interviews a week. So congratulations, Robyn, on being part of that list. So I'd love to, I've refrained in the last half an hour while we've been chatting. I've refrained to ask you too many questions because I want to keep these interviews very candid and raw and genuine. So I haven't heard your story yet, per se, other than a quick bio. So tell me all about it.
So I started my business about 8.5 years ago now, and it's been a journey and a half, and I've actually loved every minute of it. But I started out just working by myself in a small little rented room in a hair salon, and I eventually was able to grow my business, and now I have 7 employees who are just the love of my life. They're amazing. They love my business as much as I do. But yeah, my specialty is in skin therapy and skin correction, but also laser hair removal as well. So I've really fine-tuned what my business is really good at, and I love that because then I'm not doing treatments that, you know, I don't enjoy. And the treatments that we do, we're freaking amazing at. So I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Awesome. So you have just changed your name from Skintifix, and it's changed to Skintifix from Laser Effect.
Yes.
You've got 17. So tell me all about the name change, why you changed names, what the process was of doing that rebrand. I know a lot of businesses sometimes look to do this, but they're too scared to make that sort of the same. What advice do you have, and why did you do it?
I think when you name your business, when you have this dream of what you want and you're sitting late at night over your kitchen table, you know, trying to find out what names aren't taken and what's going to, you don't really have a clue of how it's going to end up. You don't know where your business is going to go. And I found initially my name was great, but after the first 2 years, I noticed that the direction of my business started to change, and the name just it just didn't reflect who we were. But how do you change your name when you've already built up such great history and a reputation for your business? And what do you change it to? So for the last 5 years, I've hated it to the point where people go, "Oh, where do you work?" Laser Effect, and "Oh, but don't worry, I don't like the name." So you kind of that verbal diarrhea. So this year I worked with a marketing company to help me discover our name and did a lot of background work on what we do. And came up with Skintifix, which I feel is such a strong, and I feel like it's synonymous with who I am and what I do, and I love it. I'm so in love with it, whereas before it just wasn't working. And as you know, lots of other businesses come into the market with laser in their name with a different strategy, I guess, into how they run their business. And I found that in the smaller town that I'm in Newcastle, there was becoming a saturation of names with the word laser in it. And so that was creating some confusion. So that was also motivation to change as well. The actual process of changing your name, God, if I knew how intricate it was, I would have planned a lot earlier. But I realized perfection isn't how it works when you change your name. It's about being in progress. So I only changed my business name. What's the date today? The 8th or something? Yeah, the 8th. 1st of September was the launch of our new name and new brand. My business
really
cards
fresh.
my business cards aren't ready. My brochures aren't even at the printers yet. The website's not up, so I still have all the old stuff. The phone, I'm like, Laser Effect, Skintifix, Robyn speaking. Like, it's such a transition, and I've had to learn to be okay with that because, you know, we can't just wake up on the 1st of September and roll out this new brand. And our clients who know us and who helped us kind of channel into where we are now, they understand. They know that they've been there for the journey as well. So it's not so much an issue with them. It's just yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a month to 6 week transition by the time everything's ready. And now that I'm in it, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, because I thought I had this idea that people only change their business name when they've had really poor management, and so they have to, like, under new management, we're better than we were before and we've changed our name. Or if your business goes into receivership and you have to change tack and create a new name. And that was my experience around people changing their business name. So I really had to get my head around that and see this as a really positive thing, because my business has grown and developed and become this whole new personality. And I'm really, really proud. Like, I don't have children. This is my baby. And I'll tell you what, it's been a laboursome process. And now I'm just so proud to show it to the world, because I just feel like it's me and it's my team and my business. And I just love it. Love it. Yeah.
So fantastic. It is a massive process and expensive process. I've done it with my business, and I was just like, well, it can be very draining, both in time and finance. But congratulations, you made it out the other side. And I had a look at branding earlier. It looks fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
All right. So just moving on then from the branding, I'd love to know who or what are your inspirations?
My inspiration is mostly people, and not so much like, the leaders in our industry or the people, the big names. I get so inspired by other women and people in business in this industry who are just driven by, I say the right things, but yes, you've got to be in business to make money, but it's more than that. They're really doing this because it's their love. And they've created businesses, and they're not, the big businesses out there or the big names that we're all familiar with, but they're doing it, and they're doing it well, and they're doing it right. And they have teams who are loyal and who respect their businesses. And yeah, for me, that's what it is. And it's the women around me. I've been able to build this beautiful family of people who just are on the same playing field. And they're the ones who I ring up when I'm like, I think I've done something really shit and I don't know what to do. And they're like, you got this. Like, it's, they're the ones who teach me that no matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. Bad as you think it's going to be. So yeah, that's where my inspiration comes from. And that's where I'm recharged and refueled, is when we go on a weekend away and just spend time together. And we don't always just talk business, but I look at these women and their lives and the way they live, and I'm just so inspired by that. And to me, that's probably the most important thing in the world, is to just have solid, strong relationships. Yeah, and not so much acquaintances or connections in this industry. It's those really genuine, soul-felt people who who've got your back, when the proverbial shit hits the fan. So that's what inspires me.
So, so true. And before we started the interview, you and I were talking just casually, and you said to me about how you went to India. And when you told me this story, I said, I don't want to know anymore, because I want to ask you these questions on the interview, because I found it incredible and it was so amazing to me. So last year you went to India, right? Which is cool in itself. But you went away for 6 months, right? And as soon as you said that to me, I just thought, I went, who can leave their business, particularly in this industry, for 6 months? I don't think there'll be more than 5 people in Australia who could say, yeah, I could leave my business for 6 months, fine. But you managed to do that. And for a lot of people, that would be their dream. And then I did ask you one question about how, and then you started to go into it, and I didn't want to know too much detail. So I guess at this point, I'd love to know how you managed to create a business that allowed you to go away for 6 months and keep your team in charge, and you've come back to a business that's perfectly operational and still profitable and functioning. How did you do that?
Honestly, the key, my team. I get quite emotional talking about them, because they're like my family, and they have been there through the highs and the lows and supported me and had my back. But when I decided to move to India for 6 months, it was a very quick decision from things that have been happening in my life. And So I had 3 months from the date that I woke up and went, right, let's do this. Let's move to India for 6 months, to the day that we were flying out. I had no plan, no strategy. I am not a systemized person. I am chaos personified, and I'm like shiny objects. I'm all over the place, but I have an amazing team. And one of my team members stepped up and she took me out for coffee and said, Robyn, while you're away, I want to be your manager. Because I had this vision of leaving. My team are that great. They work autonomously that they would be fine without me for 6 months, and I'd check in from the sidelines. So I felt like we didn't need a manager. But as soon as she stepped up, I could see the potential. And my manager just did a beautiful job. And I checked in probably once every 3 months whenever I had electricity or an internet connection. I think the key for me is that trust, and knowing you have a team around you who understand your heart and soul and your vision and the rules of the business. Basically, they understand how it all works. But it's also trusting that while you're not there, you trust them to make the decisions that you're not there to make, and you empower them to do that. And you know what? They're not always going to make the right decision, or they're going to do it differently to how you do it. But they're making that decision with the information they have at hand at the time that they had to make that decision. So I trust that they know me well enough to know how I would like it dealt with, or know the culture of our business to know that's just how we do things. And so I stepped out of the business for a full 6 months and had to rehire a new team member. Life happens and things still go on, and I was able to still manage that from a distance. And honestly, I cannot thank my team enough for giving me the freedom to do that. And yes, the figures changed in the business. They did drop slightly because I wasn't hands-on. But you know what? It wasn't that noticeable to have me getting on a plane, coming home, going, what the hell's happening? They just worked together so beautifully. And I think that's the blessing of my business, is that I have a team who are exceptional. There's almost no human words to explain how wonderful they are. And I have been extremely lucky in my business in the last 8.5 years. I've only had to let 2 staff members go. And it was with great heartbreak, because it's just not my game to, I'm not a very good boss in that regard. But yeah, it comes down to your team and knowing them and trusting them. That's how I was able to do it, and came back, and I wasn't able to step back into my business fully. I've only in the last, since May, been really able to step back into my business. So they still carried my business for 12 months without me being there. And I'm not the kind of boss who checks in every day or has them email off the end of day tradings to me. I trust them, and they know what to do. Yeah. So that's how I did it.
How did you? This amazing story, but how did you develop that trust? I've had a lot of exposure to a lot of therapists in my own business, but also in other people's businesses as well. And good team members are hard to come by in the first instance, but then a lot of businesses see good team members come and go because the leadership of the business isn't sufficient. So what is it about you personally that makes people hang around, and how do you manage your tests to keep them constantly motivated in your business, constantly driven to help you build your dream?
First and foremost, and this is only something that I've kind of got my head around in the last few months, is that I believe trust needs to just freely given. When you have a new employee come into your business, it's not about keeping an eye on them and letting them, earn that trust. If I give them a key to the building on their first day, let them do the end of day, handle the banking and the financial stuff, and give them that trust, they live up to it. When you already set the wheels in to have to earn that trust, isn't there? I don't know how to word it, but if you the expectation. So that's probably the key there for me, I've discovered. Leadership, I didn't think that this was something that I was very good at, because I'm not good at giving direction, because I'm not a details person. So I'll have all these fancy ideas, but I don't know how to implement them. And I'm the same with how I work with my team. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go. And so I think keeping them engaged is, I think I do that by giving them the opportunity to use their skills and who they are as people, and trusting that I've hired them because I think they're amazing. And so if I just let them do their thing and be amazing, then that helps them to feel like they've got a sense of ownership by any stretch of the imagination. Things get up. I'm not great at keeping everyone accountable. Yeah, but it seems to work. And I think that's just part of my personality. I don't have a 5 steps of leadership thing. I just, like I said when we were chatting before, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. But I do it with so much love for my team, and I think that definitely helps, because I love and respect them so much that I think that comes back to me. And I think too, I invest in so much training in my team, so there's always something new to look forward to, and I just really value that. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't give you but it's really just, I think that absolute love them sick, like anything going on in their lives, just loving them through that. And I think that's probably how I've had such success with an amazing team. Oh, and I hire based on gut instinct. It's not about your resume.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I usually ask people to write me a cover letter, and a bloody long one. Like, I can't get who you are from a paragraph. And I know it goes against every job application thing that you might find on Google. I want to know who you are. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know about your family. I want to know about your pets and what you do on the weekend, because for me, people say business isn't personal. For me, it's as personal as it could possibly get. Like, you're spending more time with me, and I'm spending more time with you than you do your significant other or your partner. My business is responsible for 7 mortgages. If that's not personal, I don't know what is. Like, it's personal. And when your team are going through shit in their lives, it's my responsibility to mentor or support them or do what I can. If they're having a rough week, deliver a box of groceries, put petrol in their car. You know, I probably overstepped the boundaries of employer-employee relationships. Like, you know, I'm not out drinking with them on the weekends, but, you know, I've had staff on my team sit in the front seat of my car crying about, I get emotional about this because I love them so much, about things in life not takeaway, both, you know, snot flying everywhere, crying our eyes out over life. You know, their car breaks down. I've given them my car for the week. It's, you know, I think that's what it is. Hiring on gut instinct, loving them like your family, because they're there supporting your dream. Yeah, anyone can write anything on a resume. Anyone can have any qualifications in the world. But it's about just who they are as a person and their attitude and their outlook on life, because I feel if that's the key, I can teach a monkey to do anything. Like, it's not, I'm not calling my team monkeys, but, you know, like, if you've got that, you can learn it. You know, it's who you are as a person that gets you on my team, not so much how much experience you've had. I've hired girls straight out of college, and I've hired girls who've been in the industry for 30 years, or women, I should say. Yeah, I look for who you are, not for what you are.
Very good. But I mean, that's great advice. So I know that I don't do too much recruitment these days, but I know when I first started out, I had the exact same philosophy. You hire on personality, not on skill set. You can train anybody to do anything if they have the right skills, if they have the right attitude. But you know, if they have the wrong attitude, it just becomes increasingly hard. And as the business grows, you're always going to learn new things and you're going to educate things. But if they have the wrong attitude, they might have a good skill set at the start, but then as they progress through the business, it's just too difficult. and they can infect other people as well. So I think that's really, really great advice for people who are looking at doing recruitment and how to get the best stuff. There's not too many people I know that have kept their staff as long as you, so well done on that. So we've spoken a lot about the good things about your business, the new brand, and going away on holidays for 6 months, which I'm still so envious about. And we've spoken about having such a great team. But I want to go a little bit to the other side now, and I want to know what have been your 3 biggest mistakes, and what has been your biggest failure?
Hard and fast, and you've got to make quick decisions, and you've got to know what you're talking about. I've realized you don't have to jump into these opportunities, and you don't have to make the quick decisions. You can take all the time in the world, because if that opportunity passes you, it was never meant for you anyway. I've sunk thousands of dollars into stupid marketing things. Like, marketing is my Achilles heel. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, just between you and me and everyone else here. So yeah, I've spent thousands upon thousands on advertising. I measure everything and test it, but yeah, I look back at some of the things and I think, God, I could have saved myself thousands and gone on another holiday or something.
So what are those things?
Do you mean the things that I've wasted money on? Yeah. Okay. So this radio station came around with this like coupon book, and they were going to promote it to all the people on their station. Found out later it's not even my target market listened to that station. And, there was this promotion. If you sign up today, you get to lock out one of your competitors so they can't, do it. And I was like, oh, that's not how I do business. But there was that competitiveness that I was like, oh, shit, quick, I better sign up for this. And, months went by, thousands of dollars down the drain, and, yeah, nothing happened. But that was probably the one that I think about often. Mistakes. Probably lots, but I don't dwell on them. And everything happens for a reason. I know it sounds really woo-woo to kind of say that, but yeah, you learn so much. Like, you've got to make mistakes. Oh, I've hired the wrong people knowing that I'm hiring the wrong person, but I kind of felt like I was between a rock and a hard place. And I thought in business...
So I was just going to quickly touch on that because it's so important. I think that you share this message, because so many people I know in this industry, and I'm sure it's not just in this industry, but you lose a team member unexpected, or you go through a growth phase unexpected, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I need to recruit quickly, and you recruit too quickly, and you have the wrong person. So what advice would you give on that?
They always say hire slow, fire fast, or something like that. The two times I've hired fast and fired slow, I'm talking months. And I knew from that first day, but I'm always about the benefit of the, and I want to make sure I've given that. I feel like it's a reflection on me if they felt like maybe I just didn't do this, or maybe I didn't give them enough training, maybe I just didn't give them enough support, or I'm not telling them I love them enough, maybe that's it. And 8 months goes by, and you can, it's a hole in your business, and you can see it clear as day. But it breaks my heart to let some. I've hired them. I've hired them away from a secure job that they had, and they've stepped into my business with a dream to flourish there. And I feel such a sense of responsibility hiring, because it's left a job. Now they've got this interim, and then they're going up on their resume as well and impacting their life and their future. So I'm really conscious of that. And these couple of experiences where I let them exit my business quickly enough, because I felt that sense of responsibility, having brought them into my business and allowed them to leave their secure job for a chance in my business. So that's probably the biggest one. But yeah, I can usually tell on the first day how this is going to work. And I knew, but it was breaking my heart to have to do that. And nobody wants to be broken up with. No one wants to know that they're not good enough or they're not the right fit. And I'm not a very good boss like that, in that for me, it's not that hard, fast business. You're in, you're out, you work, you don't. So, and you're not reaching your KPIs and things like that. For me, it's not that black and white. And so that's where I've really struggled to be the boss man.
Okay, interesting take on things. So many people would have a different take on that, and I guess it's just leadership styles. But I think something that's really coming across from this interview so far is the depth of your compassion and the depth of, people often say that loyalty, you got to be loyal to your employer and you got to be loyal to your business and blah, blah, blah. But it's actually nice to see that as an employer, you're extremely loyal to your team, and I'm sure they're giving it back, and that's why you've had such a dynamic relationship over the years. So I mean, it's showing through in abundance at the moment anyway, just the depth of your compassion, which is beautiful.
Awesome. I love it that sick. It should be illegal. Like, it's probably wrong, but I love it. And I love this industry. Like, warts and all, love it. Yeah. I'm just going to put my...
Second. What was that last thing you just said? Oh, you're going to be like...
I love this industry, warts and all. It's, I just have such a passion for it, and love it sick, basically.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so to finish off, I'm going to ask you quick fire questions. There's 10 of them, and I just want 1 or 2 answers, 1 or 2 word answers. All right, so no thought behind it, just quick 1 or 2 answers, 1 or 2 word answers. All right, you ready?
All right. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Number 1 inspiration.
My team.
Skincare brand you could not live without.
Say 2 words about this, because if this brand ever goes out of the business, I leave this industry. That wasn't 2 words.
It wasn't, but that's okay. Favorite treatment to perform?
Facials, absolutely. Transformational.
Least favorite treatment to perform?
And pedicures.
Most profitable treatment?
Hair removal. Bit of imbalance in the industry. What a godsend. Yeah.
Okay. Least profitable?
Least profitable. I've set it up well. It's pretty profitable, but least profitable. It's not. There's nothing on my menu profitable.
Sure. Which is so out of I'm going to list some things. I want you to tell me which one is the most important in business and which one is the least important in business. Sales, education, leadership, equipment, product, marketing, accounts, and management. What is the most?
Because once you know the how, the why is easy. Sales, that leads into everything else taking care of itself.